Today we will see episode 4 of The Water Magician, and this is the fifth and final day of Rio's lecture on becoming an adventurer. After this lecture ends, they will officially be eligible to go on adventures and into dungeons. But before entering the dungeon, the professor tells them they can ask him any question, and Rio asks if there is a way to teleport directly to the dungeon layer they had previously reached. The professor says, "Rio, I'm impressed that you know about this, but such a thing can only be found in the southern province's dungeons. In Lune's dungeon, however, there is no such method." In the next scene, the professor leads all the students toward the dungeon and explains that the monsters inside multiply constantly, and when their population becomes too large, they start spilling outside the dungeon. This is called the Great Tidal Bore, and the huge walls built around the dungeon exist to prevent monsters from reaching the town. After registering their information at the reception, they all enter the dungeon. The professor says, "As I told you, this is the first layer. There are no dangerous monsters here." While exploring the first layer, Rio and Amorn encounter a soldier and Rio easily pins it down with his magic and tells Amorn to attack. Amorn kills the soldier ant in a single strike, after which Rio extracts its magic stone. Later that evening, inside the guild dormitory, Rio is chatting with his roommates. When someone becomes a new adventurer, they are required to live in the guild dormitory for the next 300 days. At this time, they discuss how soldier ants have recently begun appearing even in the first and second layers, though according to the professor's lectures, they should not be there this early. Just then, Abel arrives and says that soldier ants can dig tunnels, which is how they reach the first layer. The three of them are shocked to see Abel, since he is a famous adventurer. Abel then says, "You three are Rio's roommates, right? I'm Abel. Rio is indeed strong, but he's a strange guy." Rio replies, "Abel, do you want to fight me?" Suddenly, Niels stands up, introduces himself, and explains that he is a huge fan of Abel. Abel tells Niels, "An adventurer's first and most important duty is to survive. Never forget that." Rio then asks Abel why he is in the guild so late at night. Abel replies that the Crimson Party has just returned from completing a quest. Soon, the other members of the Crimson Party also arrive. Rio says, "Abel, come on, we have to go report our quest to the guild master." But Abel keeps making excuses not to go. Warren then picks him up and drags him to the guild master. Meanwhile, Lynn stares intently at Rio for a while, making him feel uneasy, before she too leaves with the others. The next day, Rio and Amorn return to the dungeon and defeat many monsters, but Amorn grows exhausted. Rio remarks that Amorn's fighting style is very similar to Abel's. Amorn explains that Kiro taught him swordsmanship, and Kiro had learned it from a prestigious school in the royal capital. Rio tells him that with enough practice, he too can become strong like Abel. "When I traveled with Abel, I saw that the first thing he did every morning after waking up was sword training." Hearing this, Amorn says, "If that's the case, then I'll put in even more effort from now on." The following day, instead of going to the dungeon, Rio goes to the library to study alchemy. Afterward, he sits outside, wondering how he should approach his alchemy studies. Suddenly, a solar eclipse occurs, plunging everything into darkness. Rio notices that no one is around, leaving him completely alone, and he begins to feel that the entire world has changed. Suddenly, a powerful fire attack comes at him, but he manages to block it just in time. A demon walks toward him, saying, "So, even a human has become part of this. But it doesn't matter, because you are about to die." Rio realizes that this is indeed a demon, and the aura it gives off is as powerful as Behemoth or Griffin, making him want to escape. But suddenly, it unleashes another fire attack at him. While blocking it, the demon fires wind magic like bullets, striking Rio. The attack pushes him back, but when it hits his clothes, it gets cancelled out, leaving him mostly unharmed. The demon is surprised and notices that Rio is wearing the Fairy King's clothes. Enraged, it rushes at him with a sword. Rio counters her swordsmanship, but she proves slightly superior. When Rio retaliates with magic, she easily dodges all his attacks. He realizes she is using wind magic to enhance both her speed and her swordsmanship. Their battle continues for a long time as the solar eclipse slowly fades. Any injury the demon sustains heals instantly. When the eclipse is about to end, she stops fighting and says, "It's been a long time since I enjoyed a battle this much. You're quite entertaining. But I don't have much control over this cloister. My name is Lenore Uraka Albuquerque. And what's yours?" Rio replies, "My name is Rio, and you're a demon." Lenore smirks, "So you know about us? Truly, you're a dangerous human. With the strength you possess, we are destined to clash again. But remember, don't die at anyone else's hands. The right to kill you belongs only to me. Until then, wait for me." With the eclipse gone, she vanishes, and everything returns to normal. Rio sighs, "If I hadn't been wearing these clothes, there'd be a hole in my shoulder right now. I need money to buy some books." He then withdraws money from his account. Back at the guild dormitory, Rio finds his roommates missing. As he goes to get his shoulder healed, he looks out the window and sees some boys bullying and beating up his roommates. He rushes down and swiftly knocks out 4 of the 5 attackers. The 5th tries to punch him, but Rio easily dodges and floors him with a single strike. He then restores his roommate's stamina with nourishment. While bathing, Ito heals Rio's shoulder, saying, "The pain should be gone now. You really are a priest, Ito. Thank you." But Ito warns, "If that injury had been near your heart, you'd have been in danger." "What happened to you anyway?" Rio answers, "Actually, she was aiming for my heart, but I dodged at the last second." Amorn and Niels are shocked and ask who he was fighting. Rio brushes it off with an excuse.